There exists out there the idea, either among people and floating around on the internet, that Christianity can't be true because there's elements of Christianity that are just stolen from other pre-Christian religions. And in fact, I've even had over the years in seminary and priesthood, people I know send me these videos, either trying to show that Christianity is false or just questioning this idea. Now, some people say, well, all these elements in Christianity, you can find all those in other pre-Christian religions. Therefore, Christianity obviously can't be true. But on the other hand, if Christianity really is true, then it would in fact make sense that throughout the ages, humanity, leading up to Christ coming into the world, had an anticipation, had written on their human hearts this yearning, this grasping at the divine truth that would eventually be revealed in Christ. That there would be this anticipation, this yearning, and therefore sort of foreshadowing of what they longed for, both individually and culturally. And then they would find in Christ the fulfillment of all their yearnings and searching for wisdom and for divine truth. And this is what the Magi represent to us. All of the searching and the yearning for divine wisdom, for divine truth. C.S. Lewis, one of my favorite writers, writes about in some set of letters between a friend of his who's searching to find true religion and hasn't quite accepted Christianity yet. There's a collection of letters between him and his friend. And in them they start talking about these pre-Christian religions, all the religions before Christianity. And C.S. Lewis explains to him, he says, when you look at all the early religions, they sort of fall in two general categories. First of all, there's all the religions that are sort of the ceremonial religions. We think of the ones with rituals and offering of sacrifice and temples, and many of those religions existed. And also the other category being philosophy, the search for truth, applying one's reason to the world to understand the world. Think of the Greek philosophers who tried to understand the world as it was, in all the forms that it was, applying their reason to understand the physics, mechanics of the world, but also the metaphysics, also morality and ethics. What does it mean to be just? And C.S. Lewis says, or in his view, that a true religion would be the ones that would bring all these searchings for truth together. And that only Christianity does that. Brings together the cultic ritual religions and philosophy. And then he sort of, in a witty way, says, because it's only Christianity that would make a highbrow academic like me participate in a ritual blood feast, referring to communion, the Eucharist. And I think he's onto something. I think he's right. The idea being that Christianity does bring together all of our searchings, all of our yearnings for truth, for wisdom. And we see that's what the Magi represent. The Magi represent both the highest of human wisdom. They obviously paid a lot of attention to science, to the movement of the stars, to astronomy, but also were searching for a divine truth. So in a way, they sort of represent that they find all that the philosopher Socrates was searching for, and also they find all that Abraham was hoping and yearning for. That they saw all those things that they essentially sought for. So what they represent to us is all of humanity's yearning and searching, that they find what we're searching for in Christianity, in the person of Christ. And to go a step further, not just religion and philosophy, but also every culture of every nation. That every culture finds its full flowering in Christ. That it grows fully into what it's meant to be. And so in the artistic representations of the Magi, this has also been taken into account, that many times the three Magi, not only because there were three gifts, but were often depicted as three, each being from the three major continents known in the world at the time: Europe, Asia, and Africa. Of course, they hadn't discovered the Americas and Australia and Antarctica and so on at that time yet. But that they would depict this, showing that it's all of humanity, all of the world, all of our searching come together, represented in these three, coming to find the Christ child. Also, some depictions would also depict them at different stages of life. Three Magi, one depicted as more as a young adult, one as middle-aged, and one as elderly. And it's to show to us what Epiphany that we celebrate today reminds us, that Christ and Christianity is not just something for some people sometimes. Christianity is not just something for some people sometimes, but rather it is for everyone in every time, the fulfillment of everything we've been searching for and yearning for and longing for. At every place in our life, at every stage in our life, in our joys, in our sorrows, in our celebration of life, in our grievings, the moments of death. That Christianity speaks, that Christ speaks in his very person to every moment, in every way, in every part of our life, in every stage of who we are. That it's not just something for some people some of the time, but the Magi remind us, what Epiphany reminds us, is that in Christ we find everything that is the fulfillment that we've been searching for in the deepest desires and yearnings of our hearts.